welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today I am going to discuss about multiplying rational algebraic expressions. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so multiplying rational algebraic expressions. So you need to remember that the process of multiplying fractions is similar to multiplying rational algebraic expressions. Okay, so to understand better, let's have some examples. Okay, so example number 1. So we're going to find the product of x over 5y and 3x squared over 7y cubed. So here's our solution. So you need to remember that in multiplying, you need to multiply numerator by numerator and then denominator by denominator. So that is taas sa taas here and then baba sa baba. Okay, so this is your numerator and your denominator. So in multiplying, you have x times 3x squared over by 5y times 7y cubed. So multiply first. They are numerical coefficients and then followed by the variables. So same through with the denominator. So ganyan yung magiging tsura niya. So you have for x, meron niyang numerical coefficient na 1. So that is why we have 1 times 3. And then for the variables, you have x times x squared. So for our denominator, dito sa baba niya, you have 5 times 7 and then y times y cubed. So after nyan, we're going to multiply now. 1 times 3 followed by x times x squared. Then, doon naman sa baba niya, you have 5 times 7 and then y times y cubed. So if we're going to multiply now or proceed in multiplication, so you have now 1 times 3, so you have 3. And then for the variables, you have x times x squared. So you have here, we need to add their exponents. No, kasi parehas silang x, 'di ba? So you need to add exponents. So yung x natin dito may 1, so 1 plus 2, so that is equal to 3. So that is why sa ating numerator, yung 1 times 3 and x times x squared, ang magiging sagot natin is 3x raised to 3. So for the denominator, ganun din yung gagawin natin. You have 5 times 7, so that is 35. And then for the variables, you have y times y raised to 3. So ganun din yung y natin dito, may 1 yan na exponent. So 1 plus 3, you have 4. Then copy y. So ang magiging sagot natin dito sa denominator is 35y raised to 4. So always remember na before natin masabi na this is already our final answer, we need to check if you can still simplify, no, especially for the numerical coefficients, yung number dito. So since 3 at saka 35 ay hindi na siya masisimplify since wala na siyang greatest common factor. So therefore, we can say na 3x cubed over 35y raised to 4 is our final answer. Okay? Sige, so let's have our second example. Okay, so for example number 2, again, we need to find the product of a squared over 7b times 21b squared over 2a raised to 4. So ganun pa rin yung process. So here's our solution. So taas sa taas and then baba sa baba. No, remember for multiplication, just multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. So in that you have now a squared times 21b squared over 7b times 2a raised to 4. So next process natin is just to multiply their numerical coefficients and then followed by their variables. So you have, so always remember na yung a raised to 2 natin dito may numerical coefficient na 1. So you have 1 times 21, then a squared times b squared. Sa ating denominator naman, so you have there. So dito sa ating denominator, you have 7b and times 2a raised to 4. So 7 times 2 and then b times a raised to 4. So inayos ko lang siya. Same lang din naman yon, no? So you have a raised to 4 and then times b. So in multiplying, you have now 1 times 21, so that is 21, and then a squared times b squared. So hindi natin pwedeng ipagsama yung kanilang exponents dahil magkaiba yung kanilang literal coefficient o magkaiba yung letter, no? So you just simply have a squared b squared. So pagsamahin lang natin. So yung sagot natin sa numerator is 21a squared b squared. So ganoon din sa ating denominator. So simplify, multiply 7 times 2. So that is 14. Then a raised to 4 times b. So ganoon din, magkaiba yung ating letters. So we cannot combine or add their exponents. So you have now a raised to 4 times b. So next is to simplify. So as you can see, yung 21 at saka 14 natin, meron siyang greatest common factor which is 7. Okay? So if you're going to divide now their greatest common factor by 7, so 21 divided by 21 divided by 7 and 14 divided by 7. And that also, we for the variables, you have a squared, b squared, and then a raised to 4 and b, you have here to subtract their exponent. Diba? Dun sa ating quotient rule, na kapag magkaparehas yung ating letter, o yung mga letters natin, we need to subtract their exponents. So in that you have now, okay, so 21 yung kanina, so you have 21 divided by 7, that is 3. Then 14 divided by 7, that is equal to 2. So how about dito sa ating mga variables? So for a raised to 2 minus a raised to 4, or a raised to 2 divided by a raised to 4, so subtract natin yung exponent. So 2 minus 4, that is equal to negative 2. Okay? So you have a raised to negative 2. So remember na hindi na tayo pwedeng magkaroon ng negative na exponent, so we need to make that positive. So that is why, to make it positive, so a raised to 2 now is equal, a raised to negative 2 is equal to 1 over a raised to 2. So mailalagay siya sa ating denominator to make it still positive, no? Or tulad nung sinabi ko before dun sa previous lesson natin, yung shortcut natin na kung nasaan yung mataas na denominator, doon natin siya, yung mataas na exponent, doon natin siya ilalagay, no? So take note. So you have a raised to 2 divided by a raised to 4. So 2 minus 4, that is a raised to negative 2. So nasaan yung mataas na exponent? So nandito sa denominator. So ilalagay natin yung a raised to negative 2 sa denominator, pero magiging positive na siya. Okay, so you have now a raised to 2. And then for b naman, you have b raised to 2 divided by b, or divided by b. So remember that b here, may exponent yan na 1. So b raised to 2 minus 1, that is equal to b raised to 1, or simply b na lang. So that is positive. So dito pa rin siya sa ating denominator. Okay, so therefore, ang ating final answer is 3b over 2a raised to 2. Okay, so let's have now our third example. Okay, so let's have our third example, and that is to multiply or find the product of x plus 2 over x minus 3 times x plus 3 over x minus 1. So here's our solution. So same process, multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. So you have now x plus 2 times x plus 3, and then x minus 3 times x minus 1. So dito mapapansin natin na yung i-multiply natin both binomials. So ibig sabihin, pwede natin gamitin yung tinatawag natin na FOIL method. So FOIL means you have your first for F, outer for O, I is for inner, and then L is for the last terms. So, pag ginamitan natin to ng FOIL method, ito yung magiging solution natin. So, you have now first terms, you have x times x. Ito yan. Then, for our outer terms, you have x ulit times 3. No, yun yung outer terms. Then, for our inner terms, you have 2, ito yun, times x. So, you have 2 times x. And then, yung last terms natin, you have 2 times 3. No, or positive 2 times positive 3. Same dito as yung denominator natin. So, first terms, you have x times x. And then, for our outer terms, you have x times negative 1. So, ito yon. Then, for our inner terms, you have negative 3 times x. And then, last terms, you have negative 3 times negative 1. Okay? So, pag sinimplify na natin yan by multiplying, so you have x times x. So, that is x squared. Then, x times 3, so that is equal to positive 3x. Then, 2 times x, you have positive 2x. And then, yung last natin, you have 2 times 3, that is equal to positive 6. Okay? And then, sa ating denominator naman, you have x times x, so that is equal to x squared. Then, x times negative 1, that is equal to negative x, no? So, wag na ilagay yung 1 dito. So, understood yun na yung x natin dito meron siyang numerical coefficient na 1. Okay? And then, you have negative 3 times x, so that is equal to negative 3x. Diba kasi negative times positive is equal to negative. So, same through dito sa ating x times negative 1, kaya siya negative x. Then, yung last natin, you have negative 3 times negative 1. So, pag like signs, magiging positive yan. Then, 3 times 1, that is equal to 3. So, ito yung magiging sagot natin. So, yung next natin is to simplify now by means of combining like terms. So, iti-check natin kung may mga terms dito na pwedeng ipagsama. And that is yung ating positive 2x and positive 3x. And then, same through with our denominator, you have negative 3x minus x. Kaya kapag sinimplify natin yan, so magiging, kopyahin na lang natin yung x squared. Ayan. So, since like signs yan, so pwede natin siyang ipag-plus. So, 2 plus 3, that is equal to 5, and then copy x. Okay, so by addition rule, no? And then, copy 6. Over by, sa ating denominator naman, copy natin ulit yung x squared since wala naman siyang kaparehas. And then, negative 3x minus x. So, like signs ulit. So, ipagpa-plus natin yung numbers. So, you have negative 3 plus negative 1. Di ba may 1 dyan? So, magiging negative 4. So, copy the sign. And then, ganun din yung x natin. So, kopyahin lang. No? And then, plus 3. So, you have now x squared minus 4x plus 3. So, you have now our final answer as x squared plus 5x plus 6 over x squared minus 4x plus 3. Okay? So, that is how to multiply rational algebraic expressions. Now, just always remember na sa pagmumultiply is numerator by numerator or taas sa taas and then baba sa baba or denominator by denominator. No, kapag na-master nyo na to, actually you can have your own shortcuts kung paano siya isi-simplify. Okay? Okay, so that is all about multiplying rational algebraic expressions. So I hope that you learned something for today's video lesson. And that is, thank you everyone, and thank you for watching.